Hey, it's White Cheddar coming to you somewhere north of Amarillo in a pickle park, and I'm taking my 30. Alright, how about you two? Oh man, been working like a dog lately. I'm ready for a day off. Tonight's my last night on duty, then I get two days off, so thought I'd record this video, get it uploaded this morning. If you're not familiar with the show, this is just kind of a blue-collar coffee break for the working class, for the side hustlers, and the folks fighting in this capitalist system that we've created. It sure as hell wasn't built for us. But anyways, I'm your host, White Cheddar, and I got a pretty simple message today. And I'm sure you've heard this from some old timers. I'm sure you've heard it tossed around at the quick shop and inside a mechanic's shop. But it's excuses are like assholes. Everybody's got one, and they all stink. I said it, yeah, and somebody's got to say it because you need to hear it, because I hear it all the time. I hear it every day, from the truck stops I stop at, to the break rooms, to just these people have ideas. They've got dreams and ambitions that they want to do. They got these big ideas and how they want to change their life and live a better life, but they never start. They never start on it, and the reason why it's just a big old pile of rotten, moldy bullshit. Excuses. That's it. It's just excuses is all I hear. And I want to talk a little bit about excuses, because I've been guilty of all these. So don't let me come at you like, I'm so great and this is what you're doing wrong. That's not what I want. I know in your heart, and I know in your big brain mind, that you have ideas and goals and ambitions, but you haven't started. You haven't got out there and started doing it yet. So that's what I want to talk about a little bit. The number one excuse I hear, I got a few of them, but the number one is, I don't like dealing with people. And this isn't the biggest. This is just the first excuse I hear. And I get it. If you don't like people, if you're introvert, actually I'm very introverted, unless I have an agenda or a sales pitch or something that I'm trying to get accomplished, an idea or a campaign or something. But generally, no, man, I like to just work and go home and be chill. But the reality is, if you're going to create business, if you're going to create a revenue stream, then you're going to have to deal with people. Or you can do like my dad did. My dad was a mechanic, and he didn't like dealing with customers. He liked to come in, take out the transmission, diagnose it, fix it, put it back in, and go home. That's what he wanted to do. He didn't want to deal with customers. So he outsourced that. He's got a secretary that takes phone calls, signs up appointments and whatnot. But the reason I thought about this, I was talking to a young man the other night at the truck stop when I was getting some coffee. Good kid, man, hard worker, and he's got a little side hustle installing subs in the cars and speakers and radios and stuff for people in automobiles. He does that on the side. And I was like, man, you need to ramp that up. You need to gas it up. That's a great little side hustle. I always know people who want golf carts done, or their car or truck, or that's great. He's like, man, I just don't like dealing with people, So I was like, whoa, dude. I explained to him about my dad. And I was like, dude, you got like 3 sisters, man. And I know one of the sisters stays home and watches the kids. Her husband works and whatnot. I was like, talk to her and line up where she'll take phone calls and schedule appointments for you and get what the customer needs done. She checks with you. Okay, you can do it. Good. Boom. She sells that job. and then you pay her a little commission of that job. Now you need to increase your price just a little bit to account for paying for that. But look at there, man. You're now you're going to take your side hustle up to that next step. It's like, I get it. I don't like dealing with people either, but in business you got to. But you can outsource that, and that's going to increase both of those persons' revenue. That's collaboration. That's working together with people, and that's what we need to start doing is building these systems that interact with each other, that build, and it'll help you out, it'll help them out. It's a win situation. That's what you gotta do. So don't let me hear you talking about like you don't like working with people, but it's bullshit. Excuse number 2, I don't have the money. I know a lot of fucking poor people because I come from a lot of fucking poor people. And I've heard this excuse numerous times over the years, is I don't have money to start a business. I would do it, but if I could only come up with this much money. Hey, you don't want it bad enough. If you can't come up with the money, because I guarantee you, because this is how I started my eBay when I very first started. I guarantee you, every fucking one of y'all has $300 to $500 worth of consumer bullshit on your shelves in your house. Or you have an old vacuum cleaner and a broom closet that still works, but you just got a new one. You got that old one sitting there. You got crap around your house that you could have a garage sale. You could sell it on Facebook Marketplace. If you have a collection of something that's just sitting there collecting dust and it's just there for nostalgia, but you know you could sell it, get rid of the fucking shit. I own very little stuff. I own tools. You know, that's where I try to put my money. I don't have a whole lot of nostalgia in my life, and you know, I wanted the whole deal behind the VHS sales and vintage media is because I got tired of streaming services. I got tired of paying money for streaming services. I disconnected all those, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go back to having a DVD collection or a VHS collection on my shelf at home. So when I want to watch one of the movies, I don't have to search different streaming services and blah, blah, blah. I can just go to my shelf and pull off the tape I want. Well, I didn't want to go out and buy a bunch of VHSs and DVDs, so I started a business that buys VHS and DVDs at very low, a dime, 25 cents a piece, if that. List them, sell those online, and keep the ones I want for my own collection. It don't cost me nothing. It's just kind of, that's what I'm saying about these system designs, is you got to make it work for you, you know. So anyways, I didn't need the money to start up that. Or when I very first started eBay 10 years ago or whenever, what I did was, to the point was, I sold a bunch of bullshit that I didn't need in my life, and that gave me the seed money to slowly start the eBay business. You know, I think I took out a $100 bill. You know, went and bought stuff at garage sales and look at the comparison sales on eBay and started flipping things. And I turned that 100 into 200, and then that 200 into 400. Then I turned that 400 into 800, and I just kept putting that money back into the business until I had a fucking pile of capital. And now it's not a big deal if I see flips all the time, but I have a pile of money now, so when I see somebody that's desperate to sell something and I can help them out, you know, get them out of a pinch, they're going to sell me some crap that they don't want. I'll take that, give them their money, get them out of a bind, and I'll turn around, flip it, and make a profit off it. It's a win-win situation for both people. So don't tell me you don't have the money to start your idea or start your business. You could sell seedling plants on the side of the road. You could sell watermelon. There's 1,000 different things you can sell. And you know, if you're having trouble getting ideas, ChatGPT, large language models, use those, help you out, get some ideas going, you know, on how to make that cheddar. Listen to this podcast, listen to Surviving Capitalism podcast that's coming up. I'm just going to drop tips, tricks, hacks, how to get that cheddar. So make sure you're like and subscribe below, and I will not lead you wrong. It's easy once you get going. Once you have a few successes under your belt, you'll start gaining traction. You'll get out of the mud. You'll get out of that funk you're in. You'll get excited about life again, So what's the alternative? You're going to sit there and make an excuse and feel bad about it for weeks, for months, till someday. I'll get to it someday. No, start doing it. Just start doing it. The third excuse is I'm scared. I'm scared of failure. I'm scared of what people will think. I have this fear. And now this one, it's a real one. I've dealt with it. We've all dealt with this. These things I've dealt with in my past too. So I won't knock you for it. Fear is legitimate. The fear of failing, fear of looking stupid, fear of wasting your time, and the fear of hearing no. With people telling you no. But let me tell you something that I've learned the hard way is that failure isn't fatal. It's not going to kill you to fail. And every failure is tuition. It's a price we pay. It's experience. It's real life learning that shapes you into something sharper and tougher and smarter for the next go at it. So I always told my kids, we don't win or lose. We either win or we learn. So it's fine to fail, but if you fail, you need to figure out why you failed. Learn that lesson and get past it. And that will help you with the fear of trying new things over the years. You just got to keep going at it. You never lose. You either win or you learn. So I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that I'm scared to start this business. It's just another bullshit excuse. So deal with that. Just face that fear. Have a little courage in yourself. Have a little faith that you can pull off some incredible stuff. Everybody's got greatness in them, but they just don't see it. They're scared. They got these fears, these intimidations. But until you stand up and you do it, and you walk out on that diving board and take a jump, you're just going to keep making that excuse. You're going to keep making excuses. And the number 4 is a very hard one, and it seems like it can go one way or the other for people. And what I hear is, I don't have time. I don't have the time. And I get some pushback on this because a lot of people are just really fucking busy. They got 3-4 kids. They're married. They got a grandbaby now. They got, just an exorbitant amount of things that eat up time in their life. But what I'm talking about when I say that you don't have time, it's flat out wrong. You have time. Look, I ain't saying you need to work 80 hours a week. You don't got to grind yourself into dust. You don't got to, do that 24/7 grind mindset. You can invest 60 hours a week into your life. And what I'm talking about is maybe you do have a 50-hour a week job. Right now, I've been a trucker for a long time, and we work on a 70-hour rule, which means we can't work more than 70 hours in a week. So I've gotten used to over 20-something years of just putting in 70, 80 hours worth of work. Now, it's easy because my job might be 60 hours that week. So on my 2 days off, I might just put 10 hours into my life, into my business, into my goals. And the way I do that is I just schedule it out. I am so rigorous on scheduling and knowing what I'm doing this week, what I'm doing next week. I've got schedules all the way out to October. I can tell you when I'm going to take a vacation. I can tell you every day throughout the whole summer that I'm going to mow. And I can tell you the days I'm going to weed eat. And I can tell you the days that there's birthdays. I can tell you all this stuff because I keep a calendar, I keep a schedule, and I review it. Once a week, I'll sit down, I'll plan out the next week. Then when I get to that week, I'll review it for 5 minutes, make any adjustments I need to, and go on about it. I don't have to wonder what I'm doing every day. I know what I'm doing. And it's a lot like money. And Dave Ramsey always says this, if you're just spending money all the time and you're just taking it as it comes, and you're going to look back and wonder where all your money went. But if you'll build systems into your life, like getting a calendar or getting a checkbook or a ledger and keeping track of your money, keeping track of your time, you're going to tell your money where to go, and you're going to tell your time where to go. And that's how you get productive in life. And I'll bring up more subjects later on in other episodes about how we can function stack things in our life to really get a multiplier on the things that we're doing. So yeah, you got to be really productive with your time. Time management is one of the hardest lessons I had to learn in life, because you never know what's going to come at you in life, and you got to know when to pivot. You got to know when to hit the gas. You got to know when to reel it back a little bit, and the only way that you can do that is by scheduling your time for a long time and seeing patterns in the way that you work, what you like, what you don't. You can change things. I don't have to work 10 hours on my day off, you know. I can work 2 hours here, and then, okay, I don't have nothing going on this evening, so I'm going to put, 3 hours there to this, and then you just stick to that routine. And if it works out, it works out. If you don't like the way that schedule's going, then change it, So I'd rather do my listings in the morning. I'd rather go do the gardening, right when I get off work, when I still have some energy and I need to go out there, pull a few weeds, maybe, do something in my garden. But I schedule in blocks of 15 minutes. I mean, I break my day down into 15-minute increments. So I might, when I get off work, every other day I work 4 days. So the first day and the third day that I work, when I get in, I go out to the garden for 30 minutes. And it could just be weed eating, patches to make it look nicer. It could be working with compost. There's 100 different things that you can do in the garden, but it makes that garden just a little bit better. So every 4 days it's getting touched twice, and I take 2 days off. On that 2 days off, I might schedule 4 hours for the garden. That includes mowing the yard, taking care of trimming, bushes, trees. Like when I get my day off tomorrow, I'm actually going to thin out some trees because they've got a lot of branches that are growing downwards, and it needs to be pruned a little bit, and it's a good time to do it while it's still putting on its new growth. But yeah, I have to schedule all that stuff out, and I've known about this, and actually I get to think about it for 4 days at work. While I'm working, I get to think about my day off and all this stuff I'm going to get done, and I get hyped, I get excited, because now I'm getting off that W-2 time clock, and I'm getting to something that actually matters in life myself, in my businesses, and this podcast, and the things that I'm doing online. These are the things that I like to do. So you do have time. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that I don't have time, because even if you just put 4 hours into yourself every week, if that's all you can afford, you're living your whole life for everybody else. And it's either everybody else and work, and you sleep for 8 hours a night, and then your days off come or whatever, and all you can do is sleep and rest because you're so damn tired. Put 4 hours into it. That's 4 hours a week times 52 weeks. That's over 200 hours that you could put into something, right? Of course, the more you put into yourself, the greater that multiplier will come, and that's it for the excuses. That's what we're talking about today. It's I'm just trying to help you guys get started, because I see so many people with these great ideas and these ways that they can change their life and they can do things, but I'm not seeing a whole lot of traction out there. People are staying broke. They're not getting they're not breaking these cycles of poverty and these cycles, and the worst thing that I'm seeing is this victim mentality, and I talk shit more than anybody on the government and our, it's called the social construct. We build things in a society called social constructs. It's why guys go to a men's room and women go to the women's room, because communities just kind of decided, the society just kind of decided that's how we're going to do things. We're going to go to 2 different bathrooms, man. You might be from another planet called Xanadu, and they'll look at you and they'll laugh and they'll be like, what the fuck? They go to the bathroom based on what their sexual reproductive organ is. And we go based off of height. I don't know why they do that. Like on our planet, if you're over 5 foot tall, then you go into this restroom, and if you're under 5 foot tall, you go into this restroom, because that's their social construct. That's just how they built their system. They think it's normal. We just think it's normal. That's how we do things here. So I think that's kind of a bad excuse, because I think all bathrooms should be unisex. I think we should all just have an individual bathroom stall. Get over it. That's what porta potties are at festivals, and it's just go use the bathroom. but yeah, back to the government and these social constructs that we build for ourselves, these economies and all this stuff. And here's the ugly truth: the government ain't coming to save you. Corporations aren't loyal to you. You could be fired by lunchtime, and they'd already have the ad posted at dinner time and have you replaced by Tuesday. So nobody's here to save you. Nobody's coming. It's you. It's you that's going to save yourself. You can make all the excuses in the world why you can't start building stuff for yourself, but that's all it is. It's like an asshole. Everybody's got one, and they all stink. So quit making excuses for the new small business you're going to make. There's 1,000 side hustles you can do. You can clean houses on your days off. You can pick up parking lots. You can mow yards. You can there's so many. Just pay attention, like and subscribe to this channel, because I will drop you business models every episode, almost at least 2 or 3, and steal my ideas. Steal them. Take my ideas, run with them. Use the technology, make them better, make it more powerful for your life. That's what I want you to do, because when you start collaborating with other people, you start liking and subscribing to channels that will actually matter, will actually increase the value of your life, your productivity, your efficiencies, then you start getting traction in life, and you start getting excited again. You get off the couch, you get off the TikTok scrolling, you get off all the little social dopamine hits that this system has built into your life. They've built all this shit to repress you, to keep you and keep you exploited. You're like a dairy cow to them. They just sit there and they milk you till you're like 65 years old. Then you get sick and you have a procedure, and that costs a lot of money. Then you survive a few more years, and then they put you out to pasture, right? They put you out to pasture because you're not productive anymore. They can't get no milk from you. Tax dollars. They can't get nothing else from you. So this government's not going to save you. Corporations aren't going to save you. It's you that's going to save yourself. So start investing in yourself today. So, like I said, money ain't an issue. Time ain't an issue. You just quit making these escapes, because you can do it. Digital bookkeeping. You know what? That's one of my least favorite things that I like to do, is digital bookkeeping, of entering in my sales and entering in the shipping cost and the fees. You got to put all this stuff into your QuickBooks, and it's time consuming and it's annoying. And me as a business owner, there's enough profit left over that I think I could pay somebody to do that for me. I just do it now because I can do it. I can do it quickly. I can knock it out, and it saves me money by doing it myself, and I don't have to pay somebody else. It's that time versus money ratio that we're always fucking juggling. So keep that in mind. There's all kinds of little businesses you can start. Just need to have a little local hustle, and you just have a little determination, I'm gonna wake up and fucking do something today. I'm gonna not scroll TikTok for 5 hours, and I'm not going to listen to the Republicans debate the Democrats on the Fox News, and I'm not going to complain about the government not coming to save me, and I'm not going to complain I'm just going to get up and start fucking doing something, because you know what? That's what will make America great again. That's what will make your world that you live in great again, is when you're running the script, when you're running the show, when you're calling the shots, you're making the dough. Just keep it fucking rolling. And if you fail, you start over. And if you fail that one, you start again. And you just keep going and building. And I've seen it done 1,000 times. There's 1,000 different ways to do it. So just get rid of the excuses, sell the junk, face the fear, build a routine, pick the hustle, and post the ad. Post the ad. Share the ad with your friends. They'll share it. Trust me. I made one the other day for White Cheddar Hot Shots. Just another little side business I cooked up, which is on my day off. I will drive for another company or a relief driver, give somebody a day off for a $500 flat day rate. Fuck yeah, I'll come run a 14-hour shift for you. I don't care. Here's my day rate. I prorated it for lower, jobs. If they just need me to come run a load of gravel to wherever, $50 an hour. 1099 contract. Shake their hand, get the job done. Just another little side hustle you can do. I seen these little guys hustling. I seen their little Facebook ad in the Weatherford, Oklahoma, and their Rants and Rave page, and I think it's called Hall Star Moving. And it impressed me because I did this back in the day. We did this back in the day. We started a moving company where the customer who is moving would rent a U-Haul trailer or rent a U-Haul truck for a move. They're moving houses, so that would cover the insurance for all their stuff as they moved it over the highway. Well, Haul Stars will provide the drivers and the guys to move the stuff out of the house, load it into the truck, drive it where it needs to go, and then they unload it into whichever room. It's a beautifully simple little business plan. You're moving shit from point A to point B, and these kids figured it out, and they're hustling, and they have already got customers saying, great job, you did a great job. They're polite, they're hardworking, they got the grit, they got the determination, and they went out and did it. So these kids probably work full-time jobs anyway, they might work at Lowe's, but they schedule out and they line up their days and they do the work, and they build a small business that's extra money for them. And now, when you start running businesses, you depending on how far you want to take it, you can start getting all these tax savings from doing it legitimately and moving on. But maybe they just started out as sole proprietor and 1099 contract. They've been doing a couple jobs, getting their feet wet, getting their experience, and now they're starting to cook. Now they got some steam behind them. Now they can start bringing on some other of their friends. Say, hey, you do anything Saturday? You want to take this job and do this moving job? I'll show you how to do it this time. And then maybe next time you and another friend can do that job. Well, before you know it, they're contracting a bunch of fucking moving jobs. People move all the time. So, and it's good money when a company says, hey, I'm going to move you to California and I'm going to give you $5,000 to move. They don't want to pack up and drive their shit 5,000 miles and then unpack it when they get there, but they'll pay 3 college kids to do it. Here you go. Divide 5,000 by 3 people, for 2 days work. Come on, get that cheddar. So anyway, that's it today. I just want to talk about excuses. I hear it all the time. I've always heard it, and if you don't do something about it, you're going to stay broke. And you're going to stay wondering where all your time went, where all your money went. And at least when you're working and you're learning and you're exploring these new options, you'll have a sense of, well, I did the best I could, right? I did what I could do at the end of the day. So I want to give you a little teaser if you've been staying along, listening to me. Before I go, and just a little teaser for the Surviving Capitalism podcast, and we're going to talk a lot about kind of like what we talked about today. I get a little fire in my belly when I talk about this stuff. So if this episode did hit home, then definitely listen, because I got something even bigger for you. And the system wasn't built for us to win. It was built to keep you on a treadmill, trading your life, your time, for just enough money to stay broke, to stay quiet, and to stay dependent on that system. And in Surviving Capitalism, it's kind of a blueprint to fight back against this system. It's a pack full of tips and tricks, hacks for stuff, loopholes, just street smart strategies to beat the game, because it is a game that we're playing, and you can't just sit back and say, I'm just not going to play it, because it's the system that we're built in. It's that social construct that we're built into. I mean, I'll break down side hustles, I'll break down tax hacks, money moves, a mind shift set. Sometimes we've got to shift our mindset, and that's a lot about like this episode what I'm talking about. This podcast is going to give you the blueprint and the strategies of how the system works, and the financial jujitsu that you need. To the state says you do this, well, you do that. It's this is a problem, but you can turn it into a solution. A lot of these little things that you've never been taught in school, the public education system don't teach this. They just want students who become workers, who are obedient and do as they're told and don't question why they're told, and take their paycheck and they milk the productivity of them until they're 65 years old, if that, and there's nothing left at the end. And that's not what I want for you guys. I want you guys to have a chance at it. So I promise you, this isn't just helpful, it's a survival information, and that's why I named it that, because I've always had a prepper survival mentality. I always lived like a fucking tiger's chasing me. I'm not saying you gotta live like that, but I learned a lot of tricks along the way by dodging things. So, you know, because once you see the bars of the cage, you can't unsee it. You know, you're going to know in your head that I'm fucked if I don't do something. So, and when you tune in to the podcast, when you start learning these things, and you'll learn how to escape, and you'll never go back to that mindset. You'll have a shift in your mindset. I mean, so if you're tired of scraping by, you're tired of wondering why you work harder than ever and somehow feel like you're still falling behind, you can't afford not to subscribe to this podcast. Look it up. You know, it'll be dropping here in a couple weeks. Go to my Facebook page, White Cheddar Official. Subscribe to that. That's where I'll do a lot of the drops. Then, of course, on this podcast, I'm taking my my coffee break here with y'all. I'll give you a heads up on that too. So it's not just another podcast. It's survival. That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about survival. So make that choice. You know, hit like, click that bell notification, and it'll notify you when I drop new videos. It'll also let you know when I go live, because I plan on doing that 2 days from now. The day that I go back to work, I'll do it that morning. Do some listings on my eBay store, just chat with y'all about maybe you got an idea, maybe you need me to consult for you. I'll consult for free. Just tune into that podcast when you see me going live, and let's get into it. Let's talk about your little business you're wanting to start up, and we can start piecing some stuff together. So that's it. I ran over a little bit today, but it's all right, because it's, like I said, it's my last day, and I'm right on time as always. So I'm going to head on down to Amarillo. Got 2 more stops, and then the long drive back to Clinton, and then eventually back home, where I'll weed my garden, and I might do a little weed eating, but I'm going to enjoy the rest of the day. Then I'm going to take a good long 8-hour sleep, because I deserve it. Anyway, thanks for watching. As always, keep your head on swivel, keep the shiny side up, and I'll talk to you later.